Hey, I'm Handyman Dan with You Can Build This, and in this video, we're going to show you how to replace a bathroom faucet in your house. We're actually at our friend's house replacing 3 bathroom faucets for them, but we're only going to show you one of them because they're all the same. Replacing a bathroom faucet can get very expensive. The faucets themselves are usually between $150 to over $600 depending on the brand and type you buy. And then if you have to hire a plumber, you'll have to pay for their labor too, which is at least 2 hours worth. So at a minimum, you're looking at $450 and up. So we're going to show you how to do this yourself to save you all that money. Now, nothing against plumbers. They are 100% necessary. But if you can do this yourself, why not try to save all that money? The really nice thing about changing out a bathroom faucet is you only need a few tools. You need some adjustable pliers, a crescent wrench, a screwdriver, paper towels, a couple bath towels you don't care about, and maybe a neck brace, because crouching down inside these cabinets can be really painful.
My neck's killing me. This is the awkward, precarious position you have to be in when you're doing this. And I don't really fit this cabinet.
Before we jump into this, let's look at the 3 different types of faucets you can get, because you want to make sure that you're getting the correct faucet to replace your existing one. There's the center set faucet, the widespread faucet, and the single hole faucet. The center set faucet is one complete unit with the handles on the sides of the faucet. This faucet requires 3 separate holes drilled into your countertop, one for the hot, one for the cold, and then one for your drain stopper. The widespread faucet has 3 separate pieces: the center portion where the water comes out, and then 2 handles. And then the single hole faucet is also one complete unit, has the handle at the top of the unit. It only needs 1 hole drilled into your countertop and usually comes with a plate to cover up the other holes if you're replacing an existing faucet. The main important thing to understand is to pick out the same type of faucet you had before, unless you want to re-drill new holes into your countertop. The ones we're replacing are center set faucets. The nice thing about changing out your faucet is that it's only 7 steps. Step 1, you're just going to turn off the water. With most homes built within the last 20 to 30 years, your water lines are going to have shutoff valves inside the base of your cabinet. Just turn these a quarter turn, open up your faucet handle so that it lets out all the excess water, and you're good to go. Step 2 is disconnecting everything. You can really do this in whatever order you want, because when you're in an awkward position underneath your sink, you may be able to reach something on one side that you can't reach on the other side. So just go ahead and disconnect the water lines from the faucet, and then the faucet is held on by these plastic nuts that hold them securely to the countertop.
This is probably like the worst part because it's ultra awkward. Because it's like your cabinet's not big enough for you to go inside. And then it's like also the most awkward angle because it's up and it kills your back.
This rod coming down from the center of the faucet is called a clevis strap. And a clevis strap attaches to a spring clip, and that connects to the pivot rod that's going into the drain line. When you're disconnecting the water lines from the supply lines, it's best to use 2 tools for this. I'm going to use these pliers that are adjustable in size, and also my crescent wrench. My adjustable pliers are going to hold the water shutoff valve, while my crescent wrench is going to turn the nut at the base of the water line.
Loosen this old bugger. Bugger, not burger. Or burger.
I would like to buy the hamburger.
One thing's for sure, I probably need to work a little bit better on my mobility, or lack of mobility, because I have none.
Step 3 is to mount your new faucet. You just want to make sure that the big gasket is underneath your faucet on top of the countertop. This faucet came with a gasket on both sides. We're going to put those on.
Hot goes on the left, cold is on the right.
And then tighten the nut down to keep it secure against the countertop. Once your faucet is secured, you're going to connect your new water lines.
Now we've got our cold and our hot supply lines taken off. We've got our faucet in place now, so all that's left is to run the new supply lines. Just remember, cold is on the right, hot is on the left.
I found it's easiest to connect your water lines first to the underside of the sink faucet.
Come on. Got it.
And then I can connect them down to the water line.
The other tough thing about doing this is trying to reach your tools around the sink.
Now you don't need to tighten these water lines crazy tight, just tight enough to where it won't leak. The gasket in the line does all the work. Once your new water lines are connected to the faucet and the water supply, then you can go ahead and turn the water lines back on. When you turn on the water the first time, there will be some air that's captured in the line, so don't be worried if it's spewing out some air there. I'm just gonna let it run for a little bit and see if there's any leaks. The best thing to do right now is to get some paper towels, because that will tell you if you got a leak or not. But I just have to get out of the cabinet. One important thing to keep in mind, when you first turn on your water, there will be some standing water around your connections. As we were removing and installing the new water lines, water got everywhere, and so you're gonna have standing water on all of your connections. So it's important to wipe those dry first and then check for your leaks. I like to do this with a paper towel because for me, it's a better visual of what's going on. If the paper towel looks damp after I wipe any connection, then I know I need to retighten some things. Sometimes you may not need to change out the drain stopper. If you're trying to just replace your faucet and it's going to be the same finish as your drain stopper, there's no need to replace your drain stopper. But in this case where we're changing out from satin nickel to gold, we needed to replace the drain stopper. If everything is functioning properly, I really wouldn't worry about hassling with that. As the saying goes, if it's not broken, don't fix it. The drain stopper can be a little tricky to remove because of how it's assembled together. For this one, we're going to have to remove the P-trap, which isn't very difficult. You're just going to have to realize that you're going to get wet because there's standing water in the P-trap. And if you didn't know, the purpose of the P-trap is to hold water so that no stinky smells come up into your bathroom. This sink challenged me a little bit because it came with a part I've never seen before. I've always dealt with bathroom sinks that have the overflow drain built into the sink. These sinks had a separate tube that ran from the overflow drain down into the drain spout. This was actually pretty annoying to deal with because I had to re-silicone it afterwards to put it back in, but I was able to still reuse the parts. I found it's easiest to insert a screwdriver into where the pivot rod came in, and by holding onto that screwdriver very strongly, that will allow me to hold the drain stopper from moving around so that the drain doesn't twist. And then at the same time, I'm going to use my adjustable pliers underneath the sink to turn it and unscrew the assembly. This will disconnect the upper flange from the drain assembly. Owie, totally smacked my head right on this piece right here. Ouch. This is so sick. I've never seen this before. You physically push down on the button and that's what opens it or lowers it. And then it just comes right out. And if you want it to be stuck in there, no longer do you have to deal with this thing that sometimes causes leaks too and stuff gets clogged in there. That is a great upgrade. The nice thing about this drain stopper is that it came with its own gasket. It used to be that you had to take plumber's putty, roll it up into a thin snake-like figure, and put it around the flange of the drain stopper. A lot of times people don't know that step, and so they forget to buy it. So then they have to go back to the hardware store to buy it. Now here's your P-trap. So I'm gonna put this on first, and I'm gonna put this going down. This also has that same, it's not a gasket actually, it's actually built into it. So we'll connect this. Make sure it's tight. On this one, we want to just push this gasket down so that it seats properly. And then tighten this up. Then we'll wipe this dry. And that way we can test for leaks. And as luck would have it, this came undone, the overflow drain. So I'll need to get some silicone and fill that in. If you'd like to receive even more tips, tricks, and builds into your inbox, make sure to sign up for our newsletter where we share even more awesome information on how to do DIY projects. We're gonna fill up the sink all the way and then drain it and check for any leaks. Leaks around this. We're gonna check for leaks here. Check for leaks here, check for leaks here, and check for leaks here. Yeah, it's pretty full. So the stopper is working great, and now we'll just open it up and check for leaks. Overall, this took me about 2 hours for the first sink, and then took me even less time for the other sinks. Let's try. Now, if it is a little wet, all you gotta do is tighten it a little bit more. Hands dry there. Thank you so much for watching our video. We hope it was really helpful to you to be able to replace your own faucet. We'll see you on our next video.